Welcome to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm your host, Avery Cooper. Landmark of Taylorville proud to bring you this stream along with People's Bank and Trust. They put people first. I'm here in studio with Public Relations Manager for Central Illinois Food Bank, Tim Kursiniakis. Great to have you here, Tim.
Morning, Avery. Pleasure to be back with you.
Also have on the phone here co-coordinator of the Taylorville Food Pantry, Amy Hagan. Great to have you here, Amy.
Good morning, Avery. Always fun to be with you, too.
So, let's see. Let's start here. It's the end of the school year right around the corner. And it begs the question, how are a lot of these kids going to get their lunches? Obviously, they have their families at home, but it's a big gap to fill for people like the Central Illinois Food Bank and Taylorville Food Pantry. Let's start with you, Tim. What is the Central Illinois Food Bank doing to fulfill that need?
Well, that's right, Avery. I think it's something that kind of falls to the back of a lot of people's minds. You think about childhood hunger and families who potentially can't afford to get all the food that they need for their families. Well, during the school year, they have reliable sources of food. They can head to school. They know that they have their meals at least during the day covered. But then all of a sudden, you get to May, June, school's let out, and then these families are then forced back to wonder, where they can find enough food for their kids, for their entire families. So nationwide, it's estimated that there's 13 million kids out there who don't know where their next meal will come from over the summer. And within central and southern Illinois here in our 21 county service area, that's estimated to be 1 in 6 children. So really during the summer months, we really ramp up our efforts with a lot of our youth food distribution sites, child care centers, schools, after school programs and summer camps. And so that's really what we're looking ahead to right now. So that's kind of what our efforts will shift to in the next couple months here, and we'll hope to be making an impact for those families out there. So
on a local level, Amy, what is the Taylorville Food Pantry doing to address that child hunger need, especially during the summer months?
Well, we too are anticipating, increased need as a result of those kiddos being at home. It has always been that way in the years of our operation that during the summer it gets incredibly tough for families. One thing that most people probably wouldn't think about is we actually have a really strong partnership with the food service of Taylorville School District. And interestingly enough, when they're closing down their cafeteria lines and their school kitchens, we typically get a phone call, and I wouldn't expect that this year will be any different, but they're cleaning off their shelves and cleaning out their pantries and stuff, and they make that phone call to the Taylorville Food Pantry and say, hey, can you guys use 200 individual size school milks or juices or whatever it is they're trying to offload rather than it go to waste. And we're grateful for that partnership, because obviously they're not needing it to feed the kids at that point with school having let out, and they hand it off to us, and their items are always in great demand and appreciated by our patrons.
Tim, you mentioned after school programs for kids this summer. What are you focused on with after school programs?
Well, definitely, like Amy mentioned, really we want to provide not only food for these kids, but we want to make sure that that's healthy, nutritious food. I mean, that's something that we really focus on at the Central Illinois Food Bank. Is really, we know that if kids are given access to the proper, healthy, nutritious foods, that'll set them off for a lifelong journey of health and well-being. So we don't want to just provide, stale snack packs. We want to provide really rich, nutritious food like that dairy, produce, and protein that we know will help benefit kids. So we're really looking forward to it. This year, especially with everything going on with the impacts of inflation, we know that need is still really going to be there. Throughout the summer, the Feeding America network of food banks that we're part of are expecting to distribute over 54 million meals to kids in need across the country. So the need is there every day, and we're looking forward to it when we're ready. So
I want to get to that part of this conversation in just a moment, but first I wanted to ask Amy if there's any day camps that the Taylorville Food Pantry or any other type of summer programs that the Taylorville Food Pantry will be focused on over the course of the summer months to help in that child hunger need.
Yeah, Avery, I mean, it's a good question. I can tell you that if this year is any, a precedent, I guess, as to how we typically operate, we typically have some kind of a partnership with the University of Illinois Extension here locally. They usually have some kind of summer kids cooking, culinary, learn about nutritious eating, nutritious food preparation program that they like to loop us into, and we're grateful for that partnership. I'm hard pressed to think of a summer in the past, the recent past, where they haven't given us an opportunity to promote their program to our patrons. And it's usually, along the lines of healthy food, cooking as a family unit, knowing about food safety and correct food preparation. And so it's really, those are life skills. And the fact that they have programming like that, and they look to the Taylorville Food Pantry as an avenue to advertise, we're definitely grateful of their partnership and willing to do so.
And going back to, you mentioned a moment ago, Tim, inflation, how has inflation impacted organizations like yours in the Central Illinois Food Bank, and not just the organization, but the people utilizing it?
yeah, definitely. We're continuing to see the impact at the food bank, just like everyone else. I mean, I know that, you go to the grocery store now, and just even a small basket of groceries could cost you, upwards of $60.
Mhm.
And, the costs that we're dealing with at the food bank, I mean, that affects us as well. So, nationally, trends though, for need, in August of last year, we were looking at roughly 8% of households across America were reporting not being able to afford enough to eat for their families. And back in February of this year, that number rose up to 10%. So I haven't seen updated numbers yet from Feeding America, but we're anticipating that that's going to be kind of an increased rise. We saw it kind of stabilize after COVID, after things started kind of opening up. But I know we've heard from some of our partner agencies like Amy here in Taylorville and others around our service area that, they're seeing new people who hadn't had to reach out for help before, but especially in rural communities too, where some of these communities have been affected by grocery store closures, and now people having to drive even further to go to get healthy, fresh, nutritious food. So we're here to help them wherever we may need to. So.
I heard something on a news program on my way home yesterday that inflation in grocery stores is roughly around 8.5%. Does that sound right to you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
About what
Yep.
about you, Amy? About how is inflation impacting local pantries like Taylorville Food Pantry?
Well, I agree with everything Tim's saying. I mean, I can tell you particularly in the last month and a half, we have seen our numbers really take a strong uptick. And, to his point about new patrons and people coming from the outskirts within the county because they need our services now where they haven't needed it in the past. I'm always amazed every time that we're open, to process one or two new families that have never been to our pantry before. Because you think about the fact that our county population isn't like, we're not talking about a huge metro market here where there's people moving into town all the time. And the fact that we have new people coming online with the food pantry every time we're open is kind of a startling statistic to me. In the fact that, where is this need coming from, right? I mean, these are clearly people that are, operating their budgets on conscientiously, but on a shoestring. And then, something happens, whereas grocery store prices go up 8.5%. And these folks, they need a safety net like the Taylorville Food Pantry, and we're happy to be there for them.
Let me reintroduce you. That's co-coordinator of the Taylorville Food Pantry, Amy Hagan. She's on the phone. In studio, we have Public Relations Manager for Central Illinois Food Bank, Tim Krasiniakis. Back with them in just a moment here on the WTIM Morning Show. Landmark of Taylorville proud to bring you this stream along with People's Bank and Trust. They put people first. Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show. Landmark of Taylorville proud to bring you this stream. You always do better with Landmark, along with People's Bank and Trust. They put people first. I'm here in studio with Public Relations Manager for Central Illinois Food Bank, Tim Krasiniakis. Also on the phone with Coordinator of Taylorville Food Pantry, Amy Hagan. Amy, you told me a little bit about Stamp Out Hunger, which is a event coming up Saturday, May 14th. It's a National Association of Letter Carriers event. How's that impacting Taylorville Food Pantry?
Well, I tell you what, this is truly one of our largest food drives that happens in the run of our year. And we have just a really incredible partnership with the U.S. Postal Service here in Taylorville, the fine employees that already, are working through all conditions and are such, reliable in our community and helping deliver our mail. Well, they just amp it up every year in the month of May, and they do the Stamp Out Hunger event. It's actually a national event. That we're lucky because the letter carriers here think enough of it that they keep it going year after year. And so it is happening. The community, everyone that's on a postal route is welcome to participate in it. They literally leave their non-perishable food items out on their stoop, outside their door, at their mailbox, and the letter carriers will pick it up and bring it to the food pantry on Saturday, May 14th. I also would like to say that there is a group of retired letter carriers headed up by a gentleman by the name of Dave. Most people know him as Termite Durbin, and he is very beloved. He and the folks at the Thunderbird Lounge in Hewitttville, they take this thing to a new extreme every year, and they're always constantly, they work on our letter carriers drive all year long. They save cans, they recycle cans for cash, and all kinds of people that frequent the Thunderbird Lounge make donations all throughout the year. And Dave takes considerable pride in making sure that whatever they collect this year is more than last year and more than the year before. So he is our, I wouldn't call him unsung, because every time he comes to the food pantry, we hail him as a hero, because that's exactly what he is. I mean, he takes this campaign every single year and just is constantly looking as a competitor to beat whatever number he posted the year before. And we absolutely love him.
Not to put you on the spot, Amy, but do you know how much they brought in last year?
Oh my gosh. Now you would do that to me, and you're going to make me look bad.
No. You don't have to. It's okay. I trust that he'll do a great job.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. He will. Yeah.
Yeah. Tim, what can you say about the Stamp Out Hunger Drive?
Absolutely everything that Amy said. I mean, our letter carriers truly are the backbones of our communities. They're out there every day, no matter the weather, making sure the mail gets out there. And then to go a step further and to do this for our neighbors is so huge, the impact. And they do it out of, the goodness of their hearts. They want to make an impact on hunger in our communities. And so last year, the last time we did this, it was kind of on hold the past 2 years, or kind of took a different approach. They were more so driving cash donations, but now this year the food donations are back. The last time we got food donations from this food drive, I brought in nearly 100,000 pounds for the Central Illinois Food Bank. So, and that was there in Springfield, but whether it's there in Springfield or here in Taylorville, the impact you can make is so easy, just to put out some non-perishable food items for our neighbors, and you can help all of us make an impact on hunger in our communities, which is so important. So
100,000 pounds. And I didn't mean to even consider that part of the Taylorville Food Pantry went through the last couple of years with this drive. I mean, were food donations in play the last couple of years, Amy, or is this a return of the norm?
Yeah, well, I mean, Tim's exactly right. Like, we have ran more off of donations of checks and such, monetary donations, in other words. You did put me on the spot, and thankfully I can pull a number quickly. Like last year, the food drive collected 144 pounds of food, which goes to show you, I mean, that in itself is not the big number. What the big number was in donations itself. He collected about $8,000 in cash donation. So, I mean, that's a tremendous number. Because typically what we do is we take, for every dollar donated, we equate that to about 5 pounds of food, just round numbers. So that's like 40,000 pounds of food that was collected from the food drive.
That's incredible. That is Taylorville Food Pantry Coordinator Amy Hagan, along with Public Relations Manager for Central Illinois Food Bank, Tim Krasiniakis.